I'm very happy to have here Kevin Deysson, who works at Disney Plus as in charge of original productions. And we have here Julia Tenret, who is director of acquisitions and programming for Disney Plus. So first question is that I was here a month ago for the world premiere of Becoming Karl Lagerfeld, which was so amazing. I was really surprised that it was actually a Disney Plus series, considering how daring it was. And I was just wondering, how does that series underscores your ambitions for France?
Yeah, the premiere last month was amazing, and there is another premiere soon in Paris, and the show launches all over the world June 7th. And when we received Becoming Karl Lagerfeld, when Gaumont came to us with the series, we instantly wanted to do it, because it really represents the ambition we have in terms of original productions. It's a local story. Karl Lagerfeld is really well known in France, and we're talking about the fashion world in the 70s, so it's really grounded into France, but it has a universal appeal. So this kind of local stories, but with universal appeal, is really something we want to do in original productions. And Karl Lagerfeld himself is an IP. And of course, in a world where you have so much content, so many series being released each week, it's really important for the audience to identify what they're going to see, and then to surprise them with the kind of series we're gonna do. It's also maybe surprising, because when you think about Disney, you think about family content, you think about kids content. We started at first with original production when Disney Plus launched with 2 scripted series that were for family. But really fast after that, we switched in Europe, and I think we're going to see a clip right after on the EMEA content, with programming and with original productions for a general entertainment, so for 18 to 49 audience. So now we're really trying in Europe for original productions to be complementary of what our US studios, Marvel, Star Wars, Disney, Pixar are doing. And we're really targeting this 18 to 49 audience, so to have the best content for adults and for everyone, whether you're a kid, whether you're a single man or a single woman, to be able to find what they want on the platform in terms of US content, of course, but also European and French content.
That's great. I just want to say, because for those who don't know Karl Lagerfeld's life, the series sheds light on his passionate but yet platonic relationship with Jacques de Bacher, who also had a love affair with Yves Saint Laurent. So there is like a queer love triangle in the series. It's pretty, I wouldn't say it's racy, but it's definitely not the idea that you have of a Disney show. So, but it's great that you're...
It's a drama, it's pop, it's really for everyone, and it's not only this triangle, it's also rivalries, ambition, and the rise of Karl Lagerfeld in the 70s fashion world, and how he became the Karl Lagerfeld we all know. So hence the title, Becoming Karl Lagerfeld.
Yes, there are lots of shows about fashion being made in France, actually shows and movies. You know, as you know, fashion brands are investing in movies more and more, and series. How do you think that there's going to be some kind of a saturation, maybe?
I don't think so, because I mean, the reason why, first, the shows about fashion are all very different. Fashion is an arena that is so rich, so complex, with amazing characters, over-the-top characters, rivalries, ambitions. So it's a really good place for drama. But I think all shows have their own identity, and I think becoming Karl Lagerfeld have really its own identity.
It's extremely success. I mean, it's just so well written, so beautiful. The production value, the actors. It's actually all people who work in movies, right?
Yeah, most of them work in movies. It's a good example of what we want to do, because there is a mix of the best talents from series. Isor Pisani-Ferry is the creator of the series. Gaumont Television is producing. And we've managed to get an amazing cast, and our ambition and amazing talents behind the camera. And our ambition is really to do that in all our shows, to work with the best talents, and to try and have the most ambitious slate possible. So in becoming Karl Lagerfeld, it's Jérôme Salle and Audrey Strugo directing. We have the immense chance to have Jean Rabas, who was Oscar-winning for its set designs, Pascaline Chavannes on the costumes, and Daniel Brühl from Goodbye Lenin or Captain America is playing Karl Lagerfeld. So that's really amazing to have those talents with us on the show.
And it's also very international, right? You have actors from, Germany, France. So it's, it also illustrates your ambition to make international shows.
Exactly. It's again a local story, but it can appeal to an international audience. But we really worked on the show in France with French talents, and now the show will be released worldwide on June 7th, everywhere in the world. So everywhere you come from, you'll be able to see it.
And Julia, tell me about your strategy in terms of acquisitions. How compatible is it with what Kevin is doing?
So in terms of acquisitions and prebuys, because I'm also in charge of prebuys, I'm here to complement the US content pipeline, which is, as you know, really rich, and it's really high quality content. So we are here to complement this US slate, but also to complement the local original slate. So we always seek complementarity, variety, and on the series side, we look for series that resonate in France among the local audience, that are popular and that are really powerful. And that have benefited or will benefit from a large free-to-air exposure, because so far we have acquired a second window series, so after the linear channel that has commissioned the show. And we look at different genres like light procedural, comedies, and family dramas. So when we consider a show, we always ask ourselves if there is a co-viewing element in it, if it can be watched by. So the primary target is adults, but we ask ourselves if it can be watched by kids as well.
But tell us about, some specific examples, maybe.
Yeah. So HPI, is
TF1 series.
The best example, I would say. So season 4 will launch next month. It has its own US remake in production right now, and it's going to launch on ABC in the fall. We also have Clem, Panda, or Desperate Parents. Those are the shows that are performing really well for us. And so we're going to continue this second window strategy. And we have some other shows launching this year and next year. The next one is a show called Rematch. It's
oh yes, I saw that one.
It won the grand prize at Series Mania this year.
And it's produced by a film producer also.
Absolutely, Bruno Naon.
Unité de production.
Yeah. So this one is about the famous chess game between Kasparov and the IBM computer Deep Blue that happened in the 90s. It's a mini-series, really tense, and so we're going to launch this one later this year.
And tell us about that show, because you pre-bought it, and there was already, was it Arte or who's?
Yeah.
So
Arte is the commissioner.
Okay.
And we acquired it's a multi-territory deal, so it's gonna be in the Disney Plus UK as well, and Benelux and France.
Okay, that's great. And how long after the original airing are you going to have it on Disney Plus?
It's gonna be 30 days after Arte's finale.
Oh, that's great.
But it's gonna be first run in the other territories.
I see. And so I don't know if you can go into details, but I'm just wondering, how much of the budget did you bring with that deal?
I can't really say, to be honest. I don't give numbers.
But it's great, because when streaming services launched in France, everyone was very worried that they were just going to buy all the shows for global rights and that the broadcasters would be squeezed out. But it seems today that there are lots of collaboration. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. So we are currently exploring new windowing models. We like to think of new ways of financing shows, of bringing high quality content to our subscribers. It's really important. So currently we are considering partnerships with free-to-air, but on the basis of a first exclusive window on Disney Plus first, and then a co-exclusivity with a free-to-air partner. And we have a project currently in discussion that I hope I'm going to be able to announce anytime soon.
Great.
And in terms of original production, there is also, we could also discuss with some free-to-air channels financing opportunities the other way around, meaning original productions that we initiate first on Disney Plus that could have a second window on free-to-air. So we are really open to working, and we're really seeing free-to-air channels as our partners.
How do they help you, those streaming channels? Because those free-to-air channels. 'Cause what I'm hearing is that it's actually very complementary, because they target different audiences and they can also promote to mainstream audiences, right?
What we're really trying to do in terms of editorial lines on Disney Plus is really what we would call elevated network or commercial chic kind of show, but it still has to be mainstream. When we're producing Becoming Karl Lagerfeld, when we're launching in the fall a thriller called Les Enfants sont rois, based on an IP which was sold 600,000 copies in France, or a thriller we're currently shooting called The Lost Station Girls, based on a true crime story. Those are really well executed. They feel premium. The cast is premium. The writing is premium, but they are aiming at a wide audience. The idea is not to go for a niche audience. It's really to go for a wide audience. So it wouldn't work on every show, obviously, to work with, in terms of original productions, with free-to-air channels. But on some shows, on some movies, we can really find common ground in terms of target audiences.
And because we're in Cannes, in terms of movies, what's your strategy with original productions and prebuys?
So movies, obviously, we're Disney, so theatrical movies are key to the Walt Disney Company, but we've also invested in 2 original movies this past 2 years. The first one was called A Place to Fight For, with François Civil and Lina Coudry, and it launched worldwide last year, produced by Shifumi, in competition with L'Amour Ouf next week.
And also had the opening night movie.
Exactly, The Quentin Dupieux. And another movie with Alban Lenoir, an action comedy called Antigang with Jean Reno also. So the first one was a melodrama, second one action comedy. So it shows that in terms of genres, we're really, again, quite wide. It could be comedy, it could be thrillers, it could be rom-com. So yeah, and in terms of
prebuys, so we acquire pay-to windows. As you know, streaming platforms are entitled to pay-to windows, starting 17 months after theatrical release. So here again, we seek wide variety of genre. We have, of course, acquired family movies based on well-known IPs, EU or French IPs. So, for example, we have acquired the second window of the next Paddington movie, Paddington in Peru.
Right. Yes,
with Antonio Banderas joining the cast this time. The movie is slated for next year in February. But we also acquired Miraculous, the movie, which is based on the famous animated series, and that was released last year. Or Moon de Panda by Gilles Lemestre, which is who created the brand himself, with all these very successful family movies like Maya and the White Lion and so on. So, but it's not our main area of focus, the family movies. As Kevin said, we want to address all audiences. So we look for movies for a wider audience. And for this, we can choose any genres. So it can be action movies, thriller, it can be musical. And we also have a fantastic drama, a modern vampire story.
French vampire story?
Yes.
Wow.
The movie is called For Night We Come, and it's directed by Céline Rouzet. It's a first feature film for her. She used to do documentaries before that. And the movie is premiering in a couple of weeks, June 5th. It stars Élodie Bouchez, Céleste Brinquel, and Jean-Charles Cliché. So
who produces that?
It's Eliane Antoinette.
Okay, that's
and
great.
it was in Gérardmer, and it was also in Venice last year.
And it won the jury prize in Gérardmer this year. So,
So when you buy those movies, you take the window at 17 months, or
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can you also buy movies for a second window, like second and third window?
Yes, it happens that we have another. Two period of rights. One in pay-to and the second one after the free-to-air window.
And do you have any data on what people are drawn to, like in terms of, for instance, the movies? Does it matter that you have stars or well-known filmmakers, from France when you're showing movies, or do you feel like it doesn't really matter?
It's a matter of complementarity and variety of what we want to offer to our subscribers. So, of course, we need movies with A-list cast, and we do have some. We have, for instance, Out of Control, which is directed by Anne Lenny and starring the international actors Vanessa Paradis and Omar Sy. So we have those type of movie, but again, we are also one of our mission is to accompany young and talented directors. So sometimes there is not a very famous cast, but we like the approach. We like the take they want to make with the movies. So.
And it's important for us to follow up with talents we've worked with to really create a community. The relationship we have with the creative community for now 4 years. We've started with original productions and acquisitions for the platform 4 years ago, and our first original production started 2 years ago. And we really, our goal first was really to create this bond with the creative community, whether it's writers, producers, directors, and actors, actresses, obviously. And for example, the first scripted original we've done, we've worked on, produced by Itinéraire Production, was a show called Oussekine, from Antoine Chevrolier. And we're really, really proud today that we financed and we helped finance his first theatrical movie called La Pampa, Block Pass in English. And it's tomorrow at La Semaine de la Critique. So when we start working with talents, we want to build this relationship and continue working with them, whether again it's writers or cast that we've created a strong bond with.
Also, what I noted is that this is a show that was very politically engaged, looking at a real case of police brutality, you know, Oussekine. And this again was surprising. Oh, wow, Disney, you know. And Zone à défendre, you know, the original production you did. What's the English title?
A Place to Fight For.
Okay, that was also about activism, right?
A Place to Fight For was really a melodrama. It was a love story, a Romeo and Juliet kind of story between a cop and an activist. So two people that were so different that you couldn't imagine them being together, and he had to choose between love, family, and their professional, let's say, engagements. But it was really a melodrama, and the reason why we commissioned it was because it was a melodrama, and that's why what Romain Cogitor, the director, really wanted to do. As for Oussekine, and the link between all our shows, original movies, or scripted or unscripted series, is that it has to be current, it has to be contemporary, it has to really be grounded into France, into French society, and to depict characters, because we're doing character-driven stories that feel true. So I think the link is really the fact that it's contemporary, and Oussekine was a true story, was a local story that could really resonate for international audiences, and a story that had never been told. So it was also important for us to really dive into those local stories, and show also the audience, as you were saying, Elsa, that there is content for everyone on Disney+, and that's what is the link between all that we're saying with Julia is the best storytelling possible, the best stories possible. The Disney is all about telling stories. We've been telling stories for kids, now we're telling stories for adults, but the link is really to have the best storytelling possible for French and international audience.
And how do you greenlight shows?
First, we develop shows because for scripted series, we really think that we need to take the time to develop. Becoming Karl Lagerfeld, it's 2 years of writing. So we work really closely with the writers. We work really, really closely with the producers. I have a team who is amazing and really engaged into working with the writers and producers to develop the show and really to launch the show when we feel it's at its best place, and we're really proud of what we've done up until now. And the way we greenlight is usually we commission in terms of development, it's 1 or 2 scripts, episode 1 and episode 2, plus season arc, and then based on that, budget plus cast attached, we then go to greenlight.
I see. And what about you? Are you sometimes taking stuff that Kevin passed on? Does it happen?
No, I don't think so. We have our own different projects.
I mean, maybe sometimes, you know, you get something and you're like, well, that's not quite for an original production. And then you're like, oh, why don't you read that? No, doesn't happen?
Oh, yes. We discuss a lot, of course. Every decision I make, Kevin is aware of it, because again, it's complementarity between our two, between original production and acquisition. So maybe sometime a show that skews a little bit too family, Kevin would pass because it's not in his editorial needs, I would say, and it can be more of interest for me because as again there is this co-viewing aspect in the show that is really interesting, and I think it
and I think
can happen.
in terms of genres, in original productions, it's serialized show we're doing. And in terms of acquisitions, it can be procedural. So, for example, if a producer comes to me with a procedural and he then develops it for a linear channel, we're aware of it, and Julia is obviously aware of it, and that's how we work together. And yeah, but the way we work together on movies, on prebuys. Our teams are interconnected.
Do you receive a lot of scripts?
Yes, we do. For movies, I think we received 300 scripts in 2023, last year.
Wow.
In 1 year.
Yeah, and in terms of original productions, it's probably it's difficult to say, but it's 10 projects a week, something like that. So yeah, we receive a lot of projects, which is good because it means that the French creative community knows we're here and knows what we're doing. But yeah, it's a lot, and that's why my team is really engaged, because we have to read a lot and we really have to be as fast as possible to find the best projects. But you know, sometimes ideas and projects come during a conversation with a producer wanting to explore genre. For example, at the moment we want to explore local comedies. We want to explore romance, new romance, these kind of genres. So we're also telling the producer what we are looking for, and we're trying to bring agility into the way we are working with them. Meaning, we're really asking for a short pitch, and if we feel it could be for us, we ask for a treatment. If not, we pass. But we're trying to really to bring this agility between the markets and us, because things can change, and depending on what we have in development, what we are looking for is different, because we want to have a really wide slate of different genres. From thrillers to comedy to drama to elevated soap opera, so it can be really broad. So it's again about complementarity.
And at any given time, how many titles do you have in development? And what's your the rate of series that go from development to production?
It's really difficult to say, and actually I don't have the precise number. Each time we develop a series, we want to put it to green light. That's the aim, but sometimes either the development doesn't go as we want, or we have another project coming in which can be more interesting. You know, it depends. Yeah, it's a work when we need again to be agile, but each time when we're developing a project, it's obviously to make it happen, but development times can be sometimes fast, sometimes really long. And when we're working on IPs, for example, Karl Lagerfeld, it's based on a book, Kaiser Karl by Raphael Baquet. But still, we had to choose, okay, how are we going to enter the story? Are we going to do a biopic? Is it going to be a possible returning series? Where will we start? And all those discussions, they take time. And developing a series is amazing, because you you go in a direction and sometimes it works and it's amazing. Sometimes you feel it doesn't, so you go back, and it's really this way of working, and I think time is key. We can't go fast. We need to take time to have, again, the best quality possible.
Yes, and actually you come from the film world, so you know that too. You have that culture.
Yeah. I was in the TV industry. I started I worked for 10 years at NBC Universal for acquisitions and productions, and then I work at Europa Corp on movies.
Yeah, but it's so different from the early days of streaming, where I remember hearing producers and filmmakers being like, "Oh my God, I have to deliver my series like in 1 year from script to post-production," and people were scared in France, especially because we have such an artisanal way of working. You know, it's not like industrialized as in other places. But I feel like now we're back to kind of a model that's more doable for creators.
Yeah, it's true, and I think the movie industry and the movie business in France, obviously we're in Cannes, is really mature. We're a movie country, definitely. We were passionate about cinema in France, and we have such a wide range of great cinema in France. But we came later in the series business. We have amazing writers, we have great producers today, and we have so many stories to tell. But you're right, and I think we all feel that we need to take time. We don't have a launch date when we start developing a series. Obviously, we're not going to develop for 10 years because but we, again, we're trying to be agile and it's really great to see today. I mean, I've been there for 4 years at Disney, and to see how many great writers we have, and how many new writers are coming in, and they want to elevate and to differentiate what the French industry and the French story we can tell, and we can tell so many stories today. And Oussekine was a great example. It happened in the 80s. And there was never a movie or a series about that. So we have plenty of things to talk about.
Yes, and also one thing that I heard is that 10 years ago there was such a big lack of diversity in the series that were being made in France, and now streaming services, including yours, has really contributed to increasing that diversity on screen. Is that one of the things also that you care about?
I agree again. And I think. I mean, I'm speaking for Disney here, but I think the whole market, linear TV channels, and us, pay TV channels or streaming platforms, we are all working in the same directions to be able to get the creative community to deliver the best content, and to accompany them, and to have shows that can work outside of France. It's also really important that our local stories can travel.
And I think here there are lots of international executives, producers. Are you welcoming pitches and scripts from the international community?
So in France, we're doing French language series, unscripted and scripted series. But we have a team. Obviously, we're working with our team, EMEA team. You've seen the trailer of all the great content they are doing. So each country has its own us, and they are developing shows. So in Germany, in Italy, in Spain, in Scandinavia, in Poland, in the UK, and everywhere in the world. So I think you can, whether you're from everywhere, you can find your own exec who will be receiving your script or your project.
And for the prebuy movies, it's mainly French movies with the French language, but we have a small portion of our investment that can be done with EU movies. So Paddington, for instance, is an EU movie. So,
but I feel like there could also be some collaborations, right? Like, for instance, Becoming Karl Lagerfeld had some German component also to it?
No,
Not
actually,
really?
no. It was really
Just the actor, but no
just,
co-producers or...
yeah. As Karl Lagerfeld was German, the actor playing Karl Lagerfeld, Daniel Brühl, is German. His mother is German, and we have Marlene Dietrich that you can see on the
Yes.
on the trailer. Sorry, that is played by a really amazing German actress. So Suni Meles from Triangle of Sadness.
Yes, she's great.
She knows the red carpet here. So yes, but the way we work is really we own our projects. We of course talk a lot with our EMEA colleagues in the UK because we are looking to build a portfolio that is coherent. So we're not going to all do the same kind of genres. We really want to have a wide range of projects. But Karl Lagerfeld was really a French show produced by a French company and written by French talents.
Yes. Although if someone has a story that has a French DNA to it, they can still come to you and you make it a French show.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, exactly. And tell me about what people are watching. Are like versus movies versus series? I mean, do you feel like people are still interested in movies or they're just watching series and sometimes movies?
Both, I would say. Yeah.
Especially at Disney.
Huh?
Especially at Disney, we have
Yes.
so many great movies and studios.
Yeah,
of course,
absolutely.
they are
So
performing
both
really well.
series and movies. There
Okay.
is, yeah. The thing is that for pre-buy movies, as you know, there is, for instance, we have acquired 24 movies to date, so that's a lot in 2.5 year time. But none of them have been launched yet. So yeah, because of the 17 months after
Yes, of
theatrical
course.
release. So
Yes.
usually it's 35 months, 36 months between the moment we commit on a script and the moment we have it on the service. So we don't have this kind of.
So we're going to have an avalanche
visibility.
of French movies
Yes,
coming soon.
next year.
One of the things also that I think is very notable in the way you work is you mentioned some very well-known French producers you're working with. And I think that's also reassuring for the independent film industry to know that you guys want to collaborate with local producers and you're not just going to do everything yourself.
Of course not. We're really working with producers. It's all about the project. It's really all about the project. In terms of original productions, we've worked with Gaumont, but with Shifumi, with Fédération, with UGC, with several companies from UGC, or many more. And in terms of theatrical movies, it can go from a really small production company, and if you have a coup de cœur, a desire for a movie, for a script, if we love a script and we want to defend it and to invest in it, we'll go for it. You know, our business is also about that, about being amazed by a script and just wanted to go for it.
And looking ahead in the next 5 years, where do you see Disney Plus? And Disney Plus in France and in the world, and also like the streaming market. Do you see any contraction happening?
I mean, no. I think Disney is such an amazing brand. We've celebrated the 100th anniversary of Disney last November, and I mean, we've told story for 100 years. So I think we're going to keep on telling stories for the next 100 years. And what it's good is that we have so many different studios. It's so amazing to see content coming from Searchlight. They have the Yorgos Lanthimos movie, and of course it's going to be on the platform when 17 months after it's released in France. We have 20th Century. We have the FX a series. Shogun was an amazing success for all of us, for example. So it's ABC Signature, Disney, Marvel, Star Wars. So I mean, the company. I'm not going to present Disney, but I mean, we're we're going to keep on investing in projects, local projects, US projects that are meaningful. And again, Disney is about telling stories, telling the best stories. So I'm really confident for what's to come.
Do you think there's going to be some contraction? Not Disney, but others.
You know, our business is all about cycles, I would say. So it's difficult to predict the future. I'm not the one to predict the future. But again, I think the audience is so invested in quality content. And we're always surprised in the shows that are working. You know, you have some shows that pop up and on different platforms, on different linear or on non-linear. So I think we're all focused. I mean, our job with Julia is really an editorial job. So I'm really focused on, again, working on the best producers and creating the best shows that will help Disney Plus grow in France and abroad.
Great. And are you looking at movies here at the festival for acquisitions?
Absolutely.
And the market,
yeah. When I have time, because we have a lot of meetings, but absolutely, we watch movies and hopefully we'll find some movies that fit with our editorial needs.
Yeah, and we meet with a lot of producers that pitch us their next projects to come, and we have a pile of scripts awaiting us in Paris when we will be back.
Absolutely.
Isn't it? I mean, have you been coming to the festival every year, or is it? Yeah.
It's the third year because we launched 3 years ago. So yes, we're here for the third time, and it's really exciting each year to be here and to meet people and find good projects that we're gonna follow back in Paris and meet new people, new producers, new writers, and creative community. So yeah, it's really exciting to be here.
And to be in competition at La Semaine de la Critique for this year with a movie we finance is really a blessing. And I think tomorrow is going to be a wonderful day for all of us to see it, to have the audience discover Antoine's Chevalier's movie because I've seen it and it's amazing, and there are amazing talents here, and we're really proud of this movie and being able to finance these kind of movies and to have a director with his first theatrical movie at La Semaine is always a blessing. That's
beautiful. It illustrates also what you were saying, that you want to work with rising filmmakers.
Yeah, exactly, and you'll see he's more than a rising filmmaker. He's already a great filmmaker, and it showed that on Oussekine. It was 4 episodes. It was 4 mini movies. Each episode was really like a movie, and this one is. La Pampa is really another kind of story, personal story, but there are links because Saïd El Alami, who played Malik Oussekine, is one of the stars of La Pampa. So it's really, it's family. So we started with Disney and ending this with family, with the talents we're working with.
Beautiful. Well, fingers crossed for a prize at Critics Week. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Merci.